どうだったケイちゃん。
Welcome back, guys.
レナさんの家に行ったでございますか？すごかったでしょ？そんなことないよね。ね。
I don't know, Rena. Unlike my house, the Ryugu residence wasn't newly constructed. It had been renovated from a pre-existing building. Well, the house itself was fine. The problem was the yard. It was crammed with rows upon rows of oddities. They were all the same as the Colonel Sanders stuff you'd see while walking around in town. The cake shop's mascot, Lil Licky, the Totemon in front of the pharmacy, and even had the amazing flying elephant from the top of the department store.
そこまでは100歩譲って可愛いことにしてもいい。だがあの郵便ポストは変だぞ。ああいうのってまずいんじゃないのか？
だってはあ、かいんだもん。
She must have just thought about it because her face was filled with delight.
出かけりゃいいのか？出かけりゃ。
で、お部屋には小さいものがごっちゃりと陳列してありますの。前に拝見したことがあるでございますわ。
で、リカちゃんみたいな可愛い子は地下室にしまうのか？
うんうん、何でもしまっちゃうよ。はあ、かわいい。
So she takes anything she likes back to her nest. No ill will intended.
なあレナ、ニューヨークに自由の女神ってあるだろ？あれ、可愛いか？
うん、かわいいよ。はあ、欲しいよ。
Look at her face. The US should probably come up with some sort of countermeasure ASAP. If not, the Statue of Liberty really will take a trip to Hinamizawa in the not so distant future.
お待たせしましたです。
Rika-chan had returned.
職員室に呼ばれるなんて面白くないよな。なんかやったのか？
失礼な。リカはケイチさんのような不良とは違うでございます。違うよ、ケイチくん。リカちゃんはお祭りの実行委員さんなの。
Oh yeah?
祭り？学校の文化祭かなんかの？
ケイちゃんケイちゃん、この前言ったじゃん。村祭りだよ。綿流しのお祭り。
Watanagashi. School festival. Well, not school festival. What did they say? No, festival in general. Okay.
その綿流しって何なんだ？灯籠流しみたいなもんか？
最後に沢に流すってとこだけは同じかな。
傷んで使えなくなったお布団とかトテラとかにね、ご苦労様って感謝して供養しながら沢に流すお祭りなの。
The people living in Hinamizawa dumped their futons and padded cloaks in a stream? That sounds like it would be a lot of trouble to get if it backed up the current. Maybe they should just drop some fish in and have a fish wrangling competition. Skewer them and sprinkle a little salt. Oh man, I could smell it already.
それじゃあサマーキャンプですわ。 圭一さんって意外に想像力貧困でございますのね。
なんで俺がくだらん想像をしたことが分かった？
Ooh, that's eerie. How's she know?
表情に出てましたです。
What sort of face could have expressed what I imagined just now? Rena demonstrated for me. I see. No arguments here.
まあそんなに面白いものじゃないけどさ、楽しみにしてりゃいいじゃん。
みんなで行こう。当日は迎えに行くからね。
I don't really feel like going to festivals unless someone asks me to. I wouldn't get bored if these guys were going.
退屈どころか今年もやるぜ。
Mion's proclamation came as she looked at each member in turn. What was all that about? From the way Mion looked, it was probably
我が部の夏の風物詩、綿流し祭四強爆闘。
センスねえ。なんだよそのネーミングは。
レナは可愛い名前だと思うけどな。
I tried to object sharply, but Rena looked happy about it. I decided it was pointless to fight it.
圭一もいますから、今年は五強爆闘になりますです。
Rika-chan made a small correction in light of my presence.
で、この仰々しいネーミングの部活動とお祭りがどう結びつくんだ？
日頃部活動で培った実力をご披露するのでございますわ。
その通り。日々の厳しい試練を乗り越えた精鋭中の最精鋭たる我々の実力を。
でも去年は村長さんに怒られたし、今年は迷惑をかけないようにしないとね。つまり露店巡りをしながら部活動をするわけです。
Rika-chan really is the only one who explained things so they make sense. I see. So we'll be exhibiting on those busy festival grounds. Werner was right, of course. That would be a reason for the mayor to get angry.
でも楽しいんだよ。
That was the only point I did not doubt. It would be without question fun. The day of the festival was drawing near.
じゃあそれはそれとして、今日も始めようかね、部活動。
なーし。
Our voices rang out in unison.
やっぱり人数が多い時はトランプが一番の王道だよね。まさにこれぞテーブルゲームのベーシック。
また乾杯トランプか？
今日は新品。傷はないから本当に条件は互角。
本当でございましょうね。そのカード改めさせてもらいますわ。
Well, that was fair. Just to be safe, everyone checked the cards.
これなら大丈夫だよ。
みんな納得した？じゃあ今日はね、大貧民にしようか。5人って人数もいい感じでしょ。
It's cool how they have all these little games they play together. First one to get rid of all their cards wins. The basic rules: play a better hand, play a better card than the one before. You can play straights and pairs. There are various techniques that improve the game, like reversals. But because it's such a well-known game, there are lots of house rules for it as well. The name, for example. In my hometown, we call it Millionaire.
一応細部を確認しとくぜ。ジョーカーはオールマイティか？ 3 は3枚でも革命可能か？
ジョーカーはなし。2が最強。革命返しはあり。3でも4枚なきゃ革命不可。
あとね、ゲーム開始時に貧民がいいカードを上納するってルールがあるでしょ。あれはなしなの。
I have no idea what they're talking about, what kind of game this is. While I was confirming the familiar rules, Satoko looked over at me cautiously. I probably should have tried to look like more of an amateur. So Satoko's like, he knows how to play. I was pretty used to this game. The president and it's with the new deck. Today I might be able to win. I had the gist of the rules now. That wasn't everything, was it?
今日の罰ゲームは何でございますの？
She always says that like it doesn't apply to her.
それなんだけどさ、みんなで何枚かメモに書いて歯医者に引かせるってのはどうかな。
Excuse me. About that. Why don't we all write something down on slips of paper and have the loser draw one? Oh, that seemed like it could be interesting.
では、どぎついのを書いてケイチさんに引かせてやりますわ。あんまりひどいのを書くと自分で引いた時大変だよ。
負けなきゃいいってんだろ。
わかってるじゃありませんの。
Mion handed out several slips of paper to everyone.
じゃあ適当に書いてこのカバンの中に入れて。負けた人はこの中に手を突っ込んで1枚引くってことで。
Now then, what would be a good penalty? Worst case scenario, you draw what you wrote. Something too intense would be like digging your own grave.
何もなしって書くのは禁じ手にしましょうです。
Rika-chan's casual suggestion caused Mion's hand to lurch at a sudden halt.
うわー、ミオンさん卑怯ですわ。
She knows her well.
何もなしって書いてカードを折ってあるんですの。
I see. Just in case you lost, just grab the note with the folded corner and you'd be safe. That was a good idea. Diabolical as ever, Mion. Rika-chan is quite formidable too, being able to see through that. I couldn't underestimate her, even though she doesn't. I couldn't underestimate her, even though she doesn't stand out.
みんな、あんまり意地悪な罰ゲームはやめようね。
Nobody agreed to Reno's proposal. Everyone was ruthless.
大丈夫だよレナ。負けなきゃいいんだからな。
It's like, 大丈夫. Just don't lose.
そうだね。よし、頑張ってレナの罰ゲームをみんなに引かせるぞ。
Rena was quite brutal, even though she usually appeared meek. Better not underestimate her either.
同感ですわ。特にレナの罰ゲームってのがとっても気になるでございます。誰の罰ゲームでも怖いです。
I still didn't know what Rika-chan's penalties would be like.
つまりこのゲームには負けられないってわけ。ご一同覚悟はいいね。
We all nodded determinedly. Having confirmed that, Mion dealt out the cards. She's a sly one. We gotta watch her. Finally, the battle begins. I had a decent starting hand. Card after card was played in the middle. Not needing Mion to tell them, both Rika-chan and Satoko played their cards without hesitation. Rena and I were the only ones who paused to think. It seemed that Rena genuinely couldn't make up her mind, but I was different. I was like a shark stalking its prey, just waiting for the right time to strike.
あれこれ通るのかよ。じゃあ3出して上がりだぜ。
いないですの。8、7。上がりでございます。5と5。上がりますです。じゃあ最後の1枚を捨てて上がりね。
気を逸したか。
The loser of the first round was, of all people, Mion. And now I was certain. Today I could win.
じゃあみーちゃんこの中から1枚引いてね。
Mion, accepting her defeat, scrounged around inside the bag and pulled out one piece of paper.
誰これ。書いたやつ誰。
Mion quivered and shrieked.
どんなの？どんなの
Rena was also surprised when she peeked at it. What kind of terrible thing was written on it? Pet the principal on the head. Ooh.
ちょっと待て。これがどうやばいんだ？
圭一さんは気づきませんの？校長先生は頭髪が薄いことを恥ずかしがってますの。
Oh no. Satsuko yelled with a serious look on her face. But she wasn't as loud as Mion's shriek. What could it be?
校長先生は武道の達人なのです。若い頃は世界を修行して回って武術の奥義を極めきったと豪語してますの。戦後の日本の教育の乱れを憂いて教育者に転校したんだって。
He was inhuman. Pet that guy's head?
部長の私が模範を示さないわけにはいかないね。
She bellowed out a yell as she dashed down the hallway.
静かにこっそり行って穏便に済ます方が有利じゃないのか？
多分無理だよ。だって気配でアメフラシが探せるって言ってたし。
What the heck? This guy's a monster. I could do nothing but wait with bated breath.
校長先生、超奥義発動です。
Following the launcher with a jab, strong, fierce combo. He's even using meter. He's even using meter.
ジークンドーだな。
And from how it sounded, the principal's jumping fierce sounds like a multi-hit combo.
知らないよ。食らいたくないもん。
That's crazy, the fighting game references. Nothing I could do now except stay calm. I understood now why there were no delinquents at this school. After a few moments of silence, Mion slumped back to us.
なでた。これでいい。
Mion said before collapsing.
とりあえず生きてますわね。ゲーム続行は可能でございますわ。
おに。
I was amazed the person who made club activities like these could say that.
でもこれで一番おっかない罰ゲームはなくなったね。
Rena tried to lighten the mood and was only met with Mion's malicious grin. She was serious now.
もう手加減しないからね。あんたたちにも思い知らせてやろうじゃん。
The pace of the game became bizarrely quick. I could tell the game had gotten more intense.
S345あっかり。
Oh, she is pissed.
これで僕も上がりますです。
へへ、俺も上がらせてもらうぜ。
これで上がりですの。負けちゃったよ。
Oh no. The heavens chose to vanquish Rena.
どんな罰ゲームだろう。どんな罰ゲームだろう。
It wasn't exactly hard for her to be worried. Just thinking of the level of difficulty of Mion's first penalty still made me quiver. And so the penalty she drew with trembling fingers was... The heck was this? Squeak like a maid.
何これ。これってどうすればいいの？ってことはつまりそういう口調で喋れということではございませんの？ははいご主人様。
It hit me like a ton of bricks. I had no idea who wrote that penalty, but she was awesome.
じゃあレナ、カードを集めてみんなに配ってくれるかな。
はいご主人様。
とにかくゲームを続行しよう。なあレナ。
はいご主人様。
Oh my gosh. The eagerness to which I was goading Rena into addressing me as master was downright impressive, if I do say so myself.
うりゃ。もう負けないよ。上がり。
私も絶対負けられないでございますのよ。上がりましたです。
ならこれで俺も上がりだ。
そんな。またレナの負けでございますか？
Oh no, she lost again. Better her than us though, honestly. Rena again? What kind of penalty would it be this time? I was delighted by the mysterious sense of anticipation. Anticipation? No, this was conviction. Remove one item of clothing from the top and bottom halves of your body. Uh-oh.
そりゃまずいだろ。誰だよこんなの書いたの。
Yeah, that's diabolical. Who wrote that? My face reddened in anger. If I didn't yell something out, I wouldn't be able to hide my shaking. Who wrote that? God, please give that man a Nobel Prize.
きっとノーベルスケベ賞ですわね。
She's reading our minds. Not good, not good. What was I thinking? What I was thinking about was written on my face.
みーちゃん。
Rena begged Mion with teary eyes, but everyone knew Mion's answer already.
はいはい、甘えない甘えない。負けたら潔く。
わかりましたご主人様。脱ぎます。
What? I looked around, thinking someone else would probably stop her, of course. I wasn't exactly trying to stop her either. Then I heard the rustling of clothing, the sound of her skirt hitting the ground, and my heart racing.
これでよろしいでしょうか。ご主人様。
I looked away like a gentleman. But these club activities, you needed to be ruthless after all.
なんだ。
What the heck?
ケイチさん、何を期待してますの？下に体操服着てなかったらさすがに脱げませんわ。
Satsuko poked fun at me, but right now I can't hear it. Satsuko poked fun at me, but right now I can't hear it.
ケイちゃんもやるね。こっちの方向で攻めてくるとはおじさん予想もつかなかったわ。
違う。これは俺が書いたんじゃない。
ご主人様が書いたんじゃないんですか？
Her squirming around in PE clothes made it impossible for me to not feel anything. Calm down, Keiichi Maibara. Mion probably wrote that one and planned to go after me as I panicked. You can't fall for her trap after knowing it's a trap. Clear your head, calm down, and assess the situation. I was determined to think my way out of here. I was determined to think my way out of this. And the answer was quite simple.
俺はガーツ。
I then became a god. I, who had already entered the domain of godhood. What would dare stand in my way? It was like they were pulled to me magnetically. I was picking up aces and twos like nobody's business.
なんでこんなにカード運が悪いんでございますの？
サトコの負けだな。引くぞ。 妹口調で喋る。
Ooh.
はいお兄ちゃん。
God. Yes. The pleasure of making this brat disgrace herself.
またおじさんの負けじゃん。
ミオンの負けだな。引くぞ。女子スクール水着に着替える。
のケイちゃんに引かせたかった。
Oh, that's low. She wrote that? Yes. Mion's despair was like sweet honey.
ご主人様、また負けちゃいました。
He is destroying it right now.
レナの負けだな。引くぞ。1位に膝枕。
Let the person in first place rest their head on your lap. Wow.
この格好でですか、ご主人様。
Yeah. She's not wearing a skirt, so it's her bare legs.
お兄ちゃん、強すぎですの。
サトコの負けだな。引くぞ。1位にご奉仕。肩でも揉んでもらおっかな。
はいお兄ちゃん。
ほら、もっと奥まで爪立てんじゃねえぞ。
I had transformed into an evil dictator and couldn't be doing any better. It felt like I could control how the cards played out in my mind and even decide what suits would appear just by willing it. By the time I realized it, I had already assembled a harem. I was laughing haughtily as I rested my head on Rena, who was now a bloomer-clad maid. Satoko was wearing a collar and had taken on little sister properties. Mion was fanning me while wearing a school swimsuit.
今日はご主人様は圧勝でございますね。あんまり頭をゴロゴロしないでくださいまし。
I began to think, why does man have no end to his desires? How could I wish for more than this place of dreams?
どうしましたですか、ケイチ。
どうして人の欲望には限りがないのか憂いていたのさ。
It's like he's reached the peak and now he's been enlightened or something. It's crazy. Rika-chan hadn't been in first, but she continued to escape being in last.
ケイチは欲張りさんですよ。春を知るとも言いますです。
十分理解してるよ。
He's acting like he's on top of the world right now.
なんて言うのかな。もう死んでもいいって感じ。
ご主人様、あんまりゴロゴロしないで。死んでもいいですね。叶えて差し上げますですよ。
Rika-chan said it in her usual calm manner with a cheery tone. This was undoubtedly a declaration of war. Oh my gosh, this little girl she makes us nervous. Let's be careful.
いいぞリカちゃん、やっちゃ
このドスケベ大魔王をやっつけるでござい
She actually has the collar on.
僕では勝てないかもしれませんですが、やっつけますですよ。
Such stoicism from this little girl, who's always hidden away in Satsuko's shadow. It would probably be rude to not meet her head on. I'll face you myself, little one. I saw Mion swap a few cards with Rika-chan in the middle of the game, but pretended I didn't see it. Do you believe you can beat Keiichi-sama with just that?
2です。エースエースエースです。88888革命しますです。
Everybody looked over at me. I was still brimming with confidence. The four of them had aligned against me. That's it? You're making me laugh.
ありだったよな。革命返しだ
そんなバカなことがあるわけ。
Satsuko let out a shriek. Using up all of her cards before calling the reversal left Rika-chan with no good cards. She was defeated soon after.
僕の負けです。
ついに我が軍門に下ったり。さあ1枚引くぞ。おお。
Wear cat ears and a bell collar and a tail. It's diabolical. God. Even the penalties were as I wished. Rika-chan hung her head and equipped the three holy artifacts. It's questionable as to why such things were in Mion's locker, but since I had no objections, I didn't ask. Oh my gosh. This was so... It felt like I had become Rina. This was so cute.
かわいいよね。ねえ。はう、お持ち帰り。
That wasn't me talking. That was the actual Rina.
Me.
She was making me nervous there for a second. I thought she was gonna win. As Rika-chan mimicked a cat, teary-eyed, rings of smoke escaped from Rena's ears with an audible poof.
リカちゃん、お持ち帰り、お持ち帰り。ちょっとだけだよ。変なことはしないんだよ。しないんだよ。
そうか、その手が残ってたか。
Mion gasped and dropped her fist into her open palm.
レナがどうしてもって言うなら、僕はお持ち帰りされちゃうです。
She just accepted it.
レナさんにケイイチさんが倒せたらですわ。
They thought that Rina in cute mode would be able to defeat me. Would it be that easy? Opposing me was the same as opposing a god. I'd teach them their place.
証拠罪だ。レナなど返り討ちに。
For a moment, I didn't know what was going on. The 52 cards danced and flowed freely through Rena's hands, Like the machinations of a master magician. What the heck? In the middle of those flowing cards was Rena's ecstatic expression, her head bobbing around. Oh my gosh.
やろケイチ君早く早く
My whole body knew it already. I was going to lose. That's horrible.
出ないのケイちゃん。ならこれであっがり
She's undefeatable when she's like that, man. Everyone cheered. I was spent.
悔いはないさ。神様、短い夢をサンキューな。
さあ引くでございますよ。ケイチさんの罰ゲームこれですわ。
Everybody peeked at it in unison, gazes flicking between the text and my face.
今日一日はしゃがせてもらったからな。何でもやるぜ。内容はなんだ？
全部。
は？
Every penalty up until now.
なんだそりゃ！
You've got to be kidding me.
ケイチさん、言葉遣いが弟属性になっていませんでしたよ。
I can't look at this.
はい、お姉ちゃん。
うわこれはやみつきになるでございますわ。あと肩も揉んでもらいますわよ。ケイチくん、膝枕はいいからレナにもね。
はい、ご主人様。
Mm.
ケイチくん、それすごくかわいい。もっと言ってもっと言って。
もうお許しください、ご主人様。
Rena passed out with a squeal, blood spewing from her nose like a fountain. My dignity was being trampled more than a communal doormat.
次はおじさんだね。まずはのんびりとうちわで仰いでもらおうかな。あ、そうか。これも着ないとダメだよね。スクール水着。
それ女子用だろ。俺は男子用でいいんじゃないのか。
ここにちゃんと女子スクール水着に着替えると明記してございますわ。
Satoko was like a loan shark. Actually, me trying to escape reality was fast as humanly possible. Actually, me trying to escape reality as fast as humanly possible was pretty adorable, if I did say so myself.
だって誰のスクール水着を着るんだよ。嫌だろ。俺なんかに着られたら。
あ、おじさんそういうのは全然気にしないから。いいじゃん、役得でさ。
Wow.
私スタイルすっごく悪いからケイちゃんでも着れないことないと思うよ。
The executioners surrounded me. The executioners surrounded me, wagging their fingers.
キャッキャッキャッキャッキャー。
My first thought, it's tight around the waist. Second thought, the chest area was pretty loose. Third thought, The crotch area was
ケイイチくんかわいいかわいい。
that is so humiliating.
あとこれに猫耳と首輪と尻尾をつけて完成しますです。
We had this coming.
ケイちゃん鏡見る？いやマジすごいって。多分見といた方がいい。
The stern, scientific, calculating nature mixed in with her fascination made Mion very scary.
遠慮します、ご主人様。
これで出来上がりですわね。このままの格好で下校するってのもあればよかったですのに。
じゃあもういいかい？着替えてさ。
While I was saying that, Mion placed her hand on my shoulders and Rika-chan slipped up behind me without a sound.
まだです、ケイイチ。一番最初にやった罰ゲームが残ってますです。
この格好でか？
Rika-chan patted my head without saying a word.
うおっす、失礼します。
入りたまえ。
I stepped forward into the principal's office. My bell collar jingled adorably. Oh, that's horrible. The principal froze, solid with a smile on his face as he saw me. I couldn't blame him. In this sacred place of study, specifically in his office, though I said excuse me as I entered, the sight of a person entering a school... Though I said excuse me as I entered, the sight of a person entering with a school swimsuit, cat ears, and a collar and a tail, and for it to be a young male student, without a doubt any normal person's psyche would have stopped cold. But this could be explained. We'll call it uncanny valley camouflage, if you will. When humans see others, it can only begin to act after confirming this is human. Meaning that if he could not comprehend what was in front of him, then in those moments before he could begin to fully process the situation, his mind was completely blank. That was my one and only chance for victory. My penalty. Rubbing the principal's head.
こっちよー！勝負！
He went straight for the special move. The principal said one thing to me.
男とは何ぞや。
Oh my god. And in a heartbeat, the tremor resounded throughout the Hinamazawa The tremor resounded throughout the Hinamazawan twilight. Rina was given permission to caress Rika-chan's head as she wanted, so they headed home together, very pleased. Rina was given permission to caress Rika-chan's head as much as she wanted, so they headed home together, very pleased. Once again today, it was just Mion and I going home.
いやー、白熱したね。ケイちゃんがあんなに大貧民が強いとは思わなかった。
いや、俺自身が一番驚いてるよ。
If I was playing with guys, I wouldn't have been that strong.
しかし、ひってえ目にあった。あんな姿で担架で運ばれた日にゃ、松代までの恥だ。
でもいいじゃん。7台は自慢できるくらいいい目も見たんだし。
Well, when she says it like that, we both smiled at each other.
おやまた会ったね、ケイチ君。
No, it's Tomatake. It felt like I had been running into him quite often.
どうも、いい写真は撮れてますか？
ま、そこそこにね。で、
Tomatake suddenly leaned over and whispered into my ear.
しかし、ケイチ君も隅に置けないな。
Wow, really?
今日はこの間とは違う彼女かい？
そういうんじゃないですよ。
とぼけないとぼけない。若いうちは経験が大事なんだからな。
Because Tomatake-san let out such a crude laugh, Mion knew what we were talking about, without even hearing his whispering.
富武のおじさまだってなかなか隅に置けないって噂ですけど。
いや、僕はそんなつもりで。
はいはい、お仕事頑張っていい写真いっぱい撮ってくださいな。バイバイ。
Mion seemed to really want to get rid of this lout quickly. From the way she spoke, it seemed as if Mion knew Tomatake-san quite well.
おじさまは今年は渡長島で滞在ですかな？
うん、そのつもりだよ。お祭りを一通り撮影したらまた東京に帰るよ。
カメラマンってやつは本当に気楽な商売ですこと。早くでっかい賞を取って有名になってくださいよね。今期逃してまで写真撮影に熱中してるんだから。
そんなことはないと思うな。男は味噌汁から味が出るんだよ。
味噌から味が出てどうすんですか、バチーナ。
うんあおっと、そろそろ宿に戻らないと暗くなっちゃうな。
Tomatake-san began to take his leave with a dry smile. Tomatake-san began to take his leave with a dry Tomatake-san began to take his leave with a dry laugh. It did look like he was outmatched by Mion.
じゃあお二人ともお祭りでまた会おうね。
After waving a hand cheerfully, Tomatake-san disappeared amidst the cries of the Higurashi.
あんな調子で本当に有名になれんのかね。個展開いたら私の写真展示してもらう約束になってんだけど、当分実現しそうにないかね。
ミオンは富武さんのこと知ってるんだ。
うん、知り合いっていうかほら、ここじゃよそ者はすぐ分かっちゃうからね。
昨日今日会ったばかりという感じじゃなかったな。
富武さんね、結構ちょくちょくひなみ沢に来るんだよ。年に 2,3 回くらいかな。季節の風景や野鳥を撮影してるんだってさ。ま、大した写真じゃないんだろうけどね。
The image Mion painted of Tomatake-san was fairly unique. The Tomitaki-san I knew was more mysterious. The words flowed naturally from my mouth.
富武さんって本当に野鳥撮影で来てるのかな。
Mion stared blankly at me, as to ask, "Why do you say that?"
なんかこう撮影以外の目的で来てるようなさ。そんな気がしないか？
Like, about that incident, the dismemberment.
へえ、やっぱりそう思う？だとしたらいい感してるよ、ケイちゃん。
She agreed with that. She agreed with what I thought, but was quite chipper in how she said it.
知ってるのかミオン。
もうね。他のみんなはひょっとすると気づいてないかもしれないけど、このおじさんの目はごまかせないしね。
Mion was posturing pretentiously, but I had easily come to a very different conclusion from what she was imagining. It felt like all apprehensions I had about Tomitake-san disappeared, lifting a burden off my shoulders. I was finally able to appreciate how clear the evening sky over Hinamizawa was. I exhaled everything in my lungs and inhaled just as much. It smelled like dusk.
どうしたの、ケイちゃん？
日暮の声ってさ、こんなにも気持ちいいものだったんだなって。
ケイちゃん、何を今さら。
We both continued to giggle, not knowing why.
レナは今頃どうしてるかな。リカちゃんを思う存分可愛がれたのかな。
今頃は夕食を振る舞うから遊びにおいでって誘ってる真っ最中だよ。
うまく持ち帰れるといいな。
どうだろうね。リカちゃんってあれでなかなかうまいから。
ああ、それは同感。頭を撫でる罰ゲーム、あれきっとリカちゃんだぜ。
私も同感。校長先生の頭を撫でられるのはリカちゃんだけだし。
Just pointless chit-chat. The hot day felt like it was being cooled down by the cries of the Higurashi.